Secondly, it's the LGBTQ agenda. Okay, so let me start by being super clear. The People's Power Party in no way discriminates or has any ill intent towards our fellow community members in the LGBTQ community, or the queer community, or the non-heterosexual community. What we are picking at is not people's choices for their own sexuality or orientation. That's up to you, and that's fine. What I see as a potential issue that must be brought up will be the issue of marriage, or the definition of marriage. Okay, why? Because right now in Singapore, we have a pretty small population, the actual Singaporeans. And you do know that the total fertility rate, TFR, is now below 1, which is quite scary. So there has to be an emphasis on building families that can contribute to the population of Singapore. And it might sound a bit archaic, but it is the case. So besides that, there's also another angle which is important, which is the social fabric. That means what makes up the society. And mainly there will be certain beliefs. In this case, the belief that a marriage, or at least one that is recognized legally in government, is between a biological male and female. Okay, why? Why so rigid? Why can't we, let it, be? Because people, love is love. We want to be happy. That's fine, but we have to remember the consequences of legalizing or legislating our beliefs. Okay, in this case, if you were to remove the anchor for the definition of marriage away from biology, that means you, instead of saying, okay, because man and woman, that's science. Okay, there's no dispute that what is a biological male and biological female, there's no dispute. So we pin the law on this truth. If we remove that and then we pin it on something arbitrary like love, feelings, attraction, which differs greatly, then the question will become, where do you stop? Where do you then draw the line? So if we legalize, for example, same-sex marriage, then okay, that's fine. So since they love each other, they can get married. So what if other people love other things? For example, there was a case, I believe, in Japan. I stand correctable on this. But there was a case where someone actually married legally their video game console. So we take that and then we bring it here. Okay, so if I love my video game console, I can marry it. And then, can I apply for a BTO? And then if we get a divorce, then where do the assets go? Things like that. So it becomes hard to draw the lines when we move the marker or the anchor point away from something very tangible, very rigid, like our biology. I hope that makes sense. So it's not about coming down on these people who just want to be themselves. That's fine. But in the law, in the policy making, we have to make sure that it makes sense in a realistic way. Okay, so that's for marriage.